Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara sabilihi ila yawmiddin amma ba'd. So in continuing discussing the book Bulugh Maram, and we're still discussing the chapter of Tahara. And we have ended in the last session regarding those hadith that the author Ibn Hajar rahimahullah had mentioned regarding matters that relates to Al-Aniya. So he discussed concerning the second chapter in the Bab of Tahara, Bab Al-Aniya, where he mentioned in this particular chapter, he mentioned over 8 hadith regarding matter that relates to utensils and the likes. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll be picking up by going to the next chapter, which he discussed concerning Bab al-Thalith, which would be the third chapter in the Bab of Tahara, where he discussed concerning Bab Izalat al-Najasah wa Bayaniha, where we'll be discussing concerning matter that relates to things that are said to be Najasah and how to go about purifying and cleansing of those things. So he lists some hadith that will be mentioning or be covering concerning things that the Sharia states are owed to be najas, to be impure, and also ways in which we can go about cleansing and cleaning of those things so they can be used accordingly, and things that are najas, that may not be able to be cleansed. So he will mention a hadith regarding that matter. So we'll discuss the hadith and then we'll go through concerning the benefits and the ahkam that can be extracted from those hadith. So we'll discuss concerning the first hadith and what comes with this. Aywa.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Page 25, chapter 3, the nature and cleansing of an-najasah, the impurities. Hadith 22, narrated Anas bin Malik radiallahu anh, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked about making vinegar out of alcohol. He said, "No, it is prohibited." Reported by Muslim and At-Tirmidhi, and the latter graded it Hasan Sahih, good and authentic. Hadith 26, narrated Anas bin Malik radiallahu anh, on the day of Khaybar, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded Abu Talha to announce, Allah and His Messenger have prohibited for you eating the flesh of the domesticated donkeys, for it is unclean. Agreed upon.
So here after rahimahullah, he started discussing when discussing the chapter, he started with a hadith of Anas bin Malik, or both hadith of Anas bin Malik ta'ala anhu, where the first hadith mentioned that Su'ila Rasulullah alayhi salam and khamar, regarding concerning the Prophet Islam was asked regarding khamar, tutukhid khallan, that it being taken as vinegar, qal la. So he mentioned that this is not to be done. Then he mentioned hadith that is narrated by Imam Muslim and also At-Tirmidhi, wa qal hadith Hasan Sahih. So regarding concerning our first hadith, the hadith of Anas bin Malik. So before we have discussed concerning Anas bin Malik, we have discussed concerning something relating to this to the Sahabi Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu. Then the next matter regarding takhrij of hadith. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he said the hadith is mentioned akhrajahu Muslim, and also mentioned with Tirmidhi, waqal yani at-Tirmidhi yani hadith Hasan Sahih. So that's concerning what is mentioned here regarding the takhrij of the hadith. So as for the takhrij of the hadith, that the author here, he mentioned the hadith in the Sahih Muslim and also in the At-Tirmidhi in his Al-Jama'. So for here in this book of Halaq, the tahqiq of Shaykh Halaq rahimahullah ta'ala, when this hadith is mentioned, that he mentioned hadith akhrajahu Muslim, and also he mentioned At-Tirmidhi, and he called At-Tirmidhi hadith Hasan Sahih. Then also mentioned qultu, meaning concerned that Shaykh Halaq, that wish now to add other sources of this hadith. He mentioned akhrajahu Ibn Jarud in his book Al-Muntaqa, and also Daraqutni. Then he mentioned that qultu, also mentioned qultu, that so that hadith is mentioned in those sources. And so that's concerning that particular hadith as mentioned here regarding takhrij. So this is the hadith that is mentioned here by the author, being the first of those hadith regarding this topic regarding najasa, and specific regarding matter that relates to al-khamar. Then as we mentioned concerning takhrij, that you have others who have mentioned regarding further takhrij, the hadith also can be found as mentioned in Ahmed in his Musnad. The hadith as mentioned here, it is already, the hadith is in the book of Imam Muslim, also in the book of Imam At-Tirmidhi in his Jama', also the hadith of other sources. So the hadith of Ibn Jarud, Ibn Awana, Bayhaqi, Daraqutni, and the likes have narrated this hadith. So you find others who have narrated the hadith. So you find the likes of Ahmed bin Hanbal in his Musnad, also the hadith in the Ibn Jarud, also Daraqutni, Bayhaqi, and others who have narrated this particular hadith. So the hadith is authentic that we have in front of us. So that's concerning takhrij of the hadith. Then the next matter regarding concerning that is mentioned regarding this hadith concerning the meaning of the hadith. So the meaning of this hadith of Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu, that the hadith is discussed concerning the Prophet that was asked regarding concerning that a person using certain things concerning that that regarding concerning that khamar, that being transformed or being used concerning as being transformed into another substance, which is as they mention it regarding vinegar. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned no, la is not to be done. So as we can all I've mentioned regarding concerning that the asl regarding concerning matters regarding things that are around us, that the asl of things that things that are said to be pure. So the asl, as mentioned by Shawkani, that these general things that they're said to be things that are pure unless the Sharia have stipulated or ruled that they are impure. So the asl of ashya, of things, are that they are pure unless the Sharia, we have a text from the Sharia to say otherwise, meaning otherwise, that the Sharia stipulated or ruled that these things are impure. So if that's the case, then these things are deemed to be impure and they're to be treated as such and to be cleansed in a particular fashion. So that's concerning the asl of things. So this discussion is concerning those things that have been mentioned by way of the Sharia as being things that are impure and how to go about purifying of those things. Of those things, the ulama may have, it is very clear regarding the ruling on those matters. And in some matters, you might find there's a khilaf between the ulama. There's a difference between the ulama, whether some of the ulama take that thing to be pure or they take that thing to be impure. Then at times you might find a certain khilaf between the ulama based upon the texts that have come to us regarding that particular, those particular matters. So regarding concerning that, also regarding what is said to be najasah, what is said to be najasah. So najasah here al-qadr min kulli shay, is things that are considered to be filth, or things that are impure from different, things that are said to be impure. So al-najasah are those things that are said to be impure. So those are things that are said to be najas, that they are things of filth, impure by way of the Sharia or otherwise. Also, this hadith that it mentioned regarding concerning the Prophet that he was asked regarding al-khamar. He was asked regarding concerning Rasulullah and al-khamar, that regarding concerning al-khamar. So al-khamar, that ulama that they have mentioned regarding this khamar, is they mention khamar, it means taghati. It is something which is it hides or conceal. This is al-khamar. So khamar taghati, it conceal or hide. This is the meaning of khamar. So they mention regarding khimar, that is worn by the female to cover her head, that it is referred to as a khimar, as it covers her head. So because of this khimar, it conceal the head or hair, then it is said to be, it is referred to as a khimar, which is taghati. It conceal and covers something. So that's concerning the meaning of khamar linguistically. So as for this discussion regarding concerning al-khamar, you have one, you have this particular hadith that is mentioned here by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, where you find that others who have written and authored books regarding concerning hadith al-ahkam, they did not mention this hadith, as this hadith is more so regarding concerning khamar being using as a drink. So some of the ulama that they have mentioned this hadith concerning bab al-ashriba, that they have mentioned this bab or this hadith in relation to bab al-ashriba regarding the permissibility or lack of permissibility regarding drinking of drinking of certain things. So al-khamar being something that is not to be drink, so it is mentioned in that bab regarding that discussion. So this is so it is not but Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he mentioned it here regarding concerning, is it also khamar said to be najas or not? So khamar al-khawal, is this considered to be from things that are najasah, or it is not from najasat? So that's concerning the discussion that would be covered. So amongst the ulama also regarding concerning this particular hadith that is mentioned here of Anas bin Malik regarding concerning al-khamar, and also it being changed into something which is in vinegar, they mentioned here regarding concerning that on this matter, one regarding the masahil that are covered regarding this particular hadith is two masail are covered mainly regarding this hadith. One, the ruling regarding al-khamar, and second regarding, they mentioned tahwil al-khamar ila vinegar. So regarding concerning that the person now transforming, changing from khamar, being changed into vinegar. What's the ruling regarding this matter? So regarding concerning the first matter, so this matter regarding concerning changing, the transforming of khamar into vinegar. So from this concern the ulama that they have a khilaf on this matter. So there's a discussion between the ulama by way of there's a difference between the ulama on this topic regarding tahwil al-khamar into khul, regarding concerning that transferring khamar into vinegar. So they mentioned regarding concerning this matter with a form of trying to treat concerning khamar, a form of treating khamar into by making it into vinegar. So they mentioned regarding this matter and the aqwal of the ulama, the first opinion of the ulama on this matter remains concerning that the ulama mentioned concerning that this act, that is something which is ghayr jaiz, it is something which is not allowed. And regarding transforming alcohol into vinegar. So of those who take this position, the likes of Imam Shafi, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, wa Imam Malik rahimahullah jamihan, and also Ahli al-Hadith, wal jumhur of the ulama. So jumhur of the ulama, they have the opinion that it is something which is not allowed to be done. And that is also the view. So jumhur of the ulama, amongst them Imam Shafi, Imam Ahmad, and also Imam Malik, and also Ahli al-Hadith, that of this opinion. So that's concerning, and they use concerning this hadith. So of the evidence that they use of this hadith regarding this particular matter, and other hadith that they use regarding this matter. The second opinion is the view concerning that, another view regarding that they all concerning annahu makruh. Makruh tanzil is something which is makruh, disliked to be done, but laysa bimuharram. So they all, the second opinion, they all that transforming khamar into vinegar, it is something which is disliked, but not to the extent where it is something which is haram. That's the view of some of the ulama. And of those who take of this view, Sufyan al-Thawri, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, and also a narration Imam Malik, where they're all concerning that even though they're all concerning if it is transformed into vinegar, it becomes something which is, that they all is something which is tahir. So alcohol, if it is transformed into vinegar, they all is something which is disliked to be done, but then that vinegar will become, because of that transformation, it becomes something which is tahir. So they, for somewhat all the hadith that is mentioned here, that they all this hadith, they take the hadith to be something that is taken in light of being something which is disliked. It is something which is disliked, not to the extent of being something which is haram. The third opinion on this matter is the qawl that all the view that all concerned, they see it as a rukhsa, some form of, and also jawaz. So you see something which is allowed, permissible to some, to a degree it is allowed. That is the view that is taken by some of the ulama. And of those who take this view, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. So Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah take the view that is something which is a rukhsa, it is something which is jahiz, that is so, it is allowed that to be done. And also of those who coincide with it, that coincide with this view, also Awza'i wa Layth bin Sa'd, Imam Awza'i wa Layth bin Sa'd. So they all view that it is something which is allowed to be done. So overall, those are the view of the ulama regarding that particular matter. And yeah, they use a different hadith regarding that discussion. But those are the aqwal of the ulama regarding transforming alcohol into vinegar. Is this allowed? Is this something which is allowed? So those are the aqwal of the ulama regarding that particular matter. So that's concerned the first masala that is discussed on that matter. The next matter that is discussed is the matter regarding khamar. Is khamar something which is tahir or najas? So an al-khamar tahira or najasa. It is something which is, so that's the matter that is the purpose behind what Ibn Hajar rahimahullah mentioned this hadith. Is khamar considered to be tahira or najasa? So regarding concern this particular matter, that to bear in mind regarding this discussion regarding khamar, that of those things that the ulama have mentioned, that is an ijma' بين a Muslim concerned that khamar is tahrim. That concerning khamar, it is something which is haram regarding consuming, drinking of khamar, or eating things that contains khamar. So if it's something which is cooked, the person is cooking a meal, and they use khamar in that meal, then it is haram. Or they're baking and they use khamar, then also that product, those things becomes haram. So using khamar to drink, to consume in large or small quantity is haram. Also to use khamar regarding to drink by way into certain type of other type of drinks that it is used with, then also it is haram. So khamar regarding consuming it by way of a food or by way of a drink, it is something which is haram, and that's an ijma' between the ulama. That's an ijma' between the ulama. So as for the matter regarding concerning that the ruling regarding khamar, is it najas or not? Then regarding this matter, you find a khilaf between the ulama. So on this and they divide into qawlain. So you have two views of the ulama on this matter. اختلف العلماء فيها على قولين. So the ulama, they divide regarding the ruling of khamar. Is it najas or tahira? Then the ulama, they disagree on that matter. The first view on this matter, that they all concerned that khamar, it is najas. That's the first view of the ulama, it is najasah. And that's the matter of the jumhur of the ulama. So jumhur of the ulama take the position that khamar, it is najas. Alcohol, it is najas. And that's the view that is taken by the Hanafiya, the ulama of the Malikiyah, the Hanabila, and many of the Shafi'iyah. And also of those who are of this view, we have Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, Muhammad Amin al-Shinkiti, also Sheikh bin Baz, and others who take the position that khamr, it is najasa. And they mention regarding concern of the adillah that they use regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala statement, they mention concerning this matter, where he mentioned regarding concerning that he mentioned إنما الخمر والميسر والأنساب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that all these things mentioned, إنما الخمر, he mentioned of those things a series of things, that khamar, gambling, ansab, azlam, that these things are impure. So they mentioned because that khamar is mentioned along with these things, and they mentioned min amal shaitan fajtanibu, that these are actions of the shaitan, so you should avoid them. So that they mentioned regarding concern the word ritz, which means something which is impure. So based upon this, jumhur of the ulama take the position that khamar is something which is impure. It is ruled as being impure. That's concerning of the adillah that they use and others. The second view of the ulama on this matter, that they are all concerned that khamar, that the substance, that is something which is ta'ira, that is something which is pure. That's the second view of the ulama. And of those who have hold to this view, that that are all concerned Rabi'a ibn Abdul Rahman, Rabi'a ibn Abdul Rahman, that the Sheikh of Imam Malik, that also aligned to this view. Also that that Dawood al-Zahiri, one of his view position is that is something which is haram, that is, and also Dawood al-Zahiri, that they are all concerning that, of those ulama who are all concerning that khamar, it is something which is tahira, it is something which is pure. That they mentioned that it is something which is haram by way of consumption, but by way of the item itself, it is something which is tahir. It is something which is tahir, but not that which is haram. So you have other adillah that they use regarding concerning this matter, regarding that it is something which is, and you have other of the ulama who also, as mentioned, that or also align to that view. But overall, there are other aqwal of the ulama on this matter, the two view of the ulama on this matter regarding the hukum regarding khamr. It is something which is haram or najas or tahir, two views of the ulama on this matter. So you find that discussion that of those who are more inclined that that they mention that also of the matter regarding saying it is haram, that they mentioned regarding concerning the Prophet Islam regarding that at a certain point that the companions, when they were told regarding that concerning hamar being haram to be consumed, that they went out into the streets and that they poured khamar into the streets, and the Prophet Islam per se allowed this. So they mentioned now that so by this that they mention regarding, so you have those views of the ulama regarding this matter, but overall that the matter is somewhat still a very contended matter regarding concerning khamar. That still it is those matters we find that of the ulama of even contemporary times, they still differ on this matter, that some are still inclined towards the view that khamar is something which is najas, and some are inclined towards the view that is something which is tahir. So you have that discussion between the ulama that still continues. So it depends on each talib, and we have the concerning talib al-ilm regarding concerning their final outcome regarding this matter. But this matter is still a discussion that regarding khamar being something which is najas or tahir. Even though so that's the matter. So that discussion still stands between the ulama. You find that different of those who have explained the books of or participate in discussion, they also still have a discussion. Some still lean towards it being impure. Some lean towards it being pure. So that matter goes back to be studied. But overall, and as for I'm more inclined concerning the view, I'm more inclined towards the view that is something which is pure, not per se. Khamr is still, even though it is haram, but it's not something which is najas. It's not najas, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam knows best. So that's concerned that discussion regarding the matter regarding the ruling regarding al-khamr. And if this is the general overall view that those who hold that khamr is najas, then if it was to get onto one's clothing, then it needs to be washed as it's something which is impure. So a person would not pray in a garment or pray upon something that contains khamr based upon the view that it is something which is impure, and that's the view of Jumhur of the ulama. As for those who hold that is something which is still tahira, that it can, if it is touched, is not considered to be touching something of filth, and still the person wash off their hands. If it's onto one's clothing, then the clothing is still preferred to be washed. But if the person was to pray and there's still some khamr on his garment, his salat is still valid. His salat is still valid. So that's concerning this matter regarding this discussion regarding khamr. And you find concerned to know that Sheikh Abdullah Fawzan, that of those seeing that he is more inclined toward that, it is najas, that he owes that it is more najas regarding concerning al-khamr. So that's concerning those two matters regarding al-khamr, as can be taken from the hadith of the first hadith that is mentioned by Anas bin Malik radhiyallahu anhu. As for the second hadith that is mentioned, anhu meaning Anas bin Malik, قال لما كان يوم الخيبر. So he discussed concerning when it on the day of Khaybar, Amara Rasulullah alayhi wasallam Abu Talha. So the Prophet that he commanded, instructed Abu Talha, gave a command to Abu Talha, فنادى, that he should announce, إن الله ورسوله ينهاينكم عن لحوم الخمر أهلية فإنها رجس. We mentioned concerning the Prophet that the Prophet that he have forbidden you regarding concerning the domesticated donkey, because it is rich, it is something which is filth, it is something which is impure. And he mentioned hadith muttafaqun alayh. So as for the hadith that he mentioned here regarding concerning that this particular hadith that is mentioned, so as we mentioned, Anas bin Malik was mentioned previous. As for the ruling on the hadith that is mentioned, that Shaykh Halak, that he mentioned regarding the second hadith of Anas bin Malik, that is mentioned here, that this hadith, that it is collected by Imam al-Bukhari wa Imam Muslim, and Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, he mentioned this hadith several places. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, that this particular hadith is mentioned several places in his Sahih. Imam Muslim rahimahullah mentioned hadith once. So he mentioned that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah may have mentioned hadith over 4 different places in his Sahih. So Imam Bukhari may have mentioned his hadith over 4 different places in his Sahih. As for others who have narrated this hadith, he mentioned there, قلت أخرجه النسائي Ibn Majah, Bayhaqi, Ahmed, wa Darami. So these are of the other books of hadith that have also collected this hadith of Anas bin this hadith of Anas bin Malik regarding that the Prophet Islam forbidden regarding concerning regarding domesticated donkeys. So the hadith in the Bukhari, Muslim, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, Bayhaqi, Ahmed, and also Ad-Darami. So those are of the ones who have collected this hadith as mentioned here. So that's concerning takhrij of the hadith. This is concerning takhrij of the hadith. That Imam Muslim rahimahullah, when he mentioned this hadith also, he also have a ziyada. So Imam Muslim rahimahullah, when he mentioned this hadith also, he has also an extra wording or sentence where he mentioned min amr shaitan. That also regarding concerning that this is from the actions of the shaitan. So the hadith of Anas, that also he added concerning that min amr shaitan, that domesticated donkeys, also that they are from the actions of the shaitan. So as for the hadith, what is mentioned here, that he mentioned first regarding concerning of some of the wordings or sentence in the hadith, he mentioned لما كان يوم الخيبر. So until the day of Khaybar, and they mentioned concerning al-Khaybar, which mentioned al-Khaybar concerning Yawm al-Khaybar, meaning concerning Ghazwat al-Khaybar, concerning the battle of Khaybar. So of those battles that occurred, that is of Khaybar. And this concerning that this battle, it occurred in concerning in the month of Muharram, in Sanat al-Sabi', in the 7th month of Al-Hijri, where this particular battle took place. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, that according to the qawl of Jumhur of the and this concerning the qawl of Jumhur of the ulama, that it occurs in the 7th year of the Hijrah, in the last month, the last days of the month of Muharram. Also, that so that's concerning what is mentioned by Ibn Qayyim as the qawl of the qawl of Jumhur regarding this particular battle. Then also concerning this battle is a battle concerning the Muslim that they were against concerning Yahud. The Muslim were against the Yahud, and the Muslim can somewhat as surrounded the Yahud in concerning Al-Khaybar. So this is Khaybar is in relation to the battle between the Muslim and the Yahud that were stationed in this place of Khaybar. So that's concerning that particular battle. And Khaybar is a city, a place that is away outside of Medina. Outside of Medina is outside Medina. So I mentioned Abu Talha, the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he instructed Abu Talha, that regarding concerning Abu Talha is Zayd ibn Sahl, ibn Aswad, ibn Haram, ibn Amr, Najari, al-Ansari. So this is Abu Talha. So his name is Zayd ibn Sahl, ibn Aswad, ibn Haram, ibn Amr, Najari, al-Ansari. And he's more famous for his kunya. He's more renowned and famous for his kunya. And of those who are said to be of the renowned Sahaba, he's one of the well-renowned Sahaba. And Abu Talha, that he was married to Sulaim. He's the husband of Sulaim, and Sulaim, that she's the mother of Anas. She's the mother of Anas. So regarding concerning that, and Abu Talha rahimahullah, that they mentioned here regarding that he died here, that he died concerned that the 34th year of the Hijrah. He died the 34th year of the Hijrah. That's concerning Abu Talha rahimahullah ta'ala anhu wa rahimahullah ta'ala. Then as we mentioned, luhum, al-umr, ahliya. So humur, that is concerned domesticated animals. This regarding domesticated animals. And so you find that animals that are either considered to be domesticated animals, and also you can animal which is wahshiyan. So you find that al-humur either domesticated or referred to as donkey, and the wild ones that are referred to as zebras. So the wild are referred to as zebras. So and they are the only mentioned concerned as zebra. They said humur, wahshiya, what I refer to as zebras, that they are annaha, it is halal. It is zebras are halal to be eaten. As for domesticated donkeys, then they are not allowed to be eaten. Then I mentioned innaha ritz. So the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that it is ritz, that indicating something which is najas. So it indicates that this animal, it is something said to be impure. And the ulama discussed concerning that impure, regardless, we are not allowed to eat from this animal. So concerning that consuming of this animal, it is not allowed. And that's a next discussion regarding things that are allowed to be eat and not allowed to be eat. But regarding concerning what is being more concerned, discussed here regarding concerning that they mentioned regarding concerning that things that relate to their saliva, this najas. Also, they discuss between the ulama regarding water that they have drank from. Are we allowed to use of those water, or remaining water that they have drank from? Are we allowed to use those water? And also things regarding their saliva. So regarding their saliva and the likes, are these things and these things, are we allowed regarding concerning these things? So the ulama, as we had mentioned, are cited before regarding the ulama. They are mentioned regarding concerning these animals, that they put them into two categories. Those ones that we are allowed to eat of their meat. So the animals that we are allowed to eat of their meat, concerned to know that these ones are considered to be tahir, because of us allowed to eat of their meat. So regarding concerning if I think that if they were to drink from something, that water is not considered to be najas, then the discussion regarding concerning those ones that we do not eat of their meat, what's the rule regarding things that have their excess water that they have drank from and have left behind, also their saliva and the likes, what's the rule pertaining to those things? So with those matters, you find that the ulama have that discussion regarding those animals, regarding are those things from them najas or tahir? Are those things najas or tahir? So regarding concern those matters, that you have aqwal between the ulama, that of those who all concerning that these things from these animals, that their saliva and the likes, that they are tahir, that these animals that we do not eat from their meat, that they are all concerning that their saliva, with the exception of the dog and the exception of the pig. Then I mentioned that these other animals, regarding concerning himar, I would say like the case of the donkey, that I mentioned that is saliva is something which is tahir, of the ulama of that view. So of those ulama who take that view, that's the method of the Shafi'iyah regarding concerning himar. So the himar, regarding concerning that that their saliva is said to be tahir, can be used for tahara if they have drank from something, and that's the matter of the Shafi'iyah, and also a view that is of the Hanabila, and also the method of the Malikiyah. So that's concerning, and it's close to being the view of the Jumhur of the ulama, close to being the view of the Jumhur of the ulama. And also they mentioned that others who have taken that view concerning the Sahaba, that you find the view of Omar, also the view of Abu Hurairah, Hassan al-Basri, Atta, Zuhri, and other of the ulama who have taken that view regarding that the leftover water and the of these animals, the saliva, that is something which is tahir. That's concerning the view that is taken, that the view taken by some of the ulama. A second opinion on that matter is concerned that that the leftover water and the saliva from those animals, that from the donkey, domesticated donkey, that is something which is najas. And I mentioned that one, as mentioned, innahu najas, that is something which is najas. So, but the Prophet Islam have said that they are najas. So those things that comes from them is also said to be najas. So they mentioned that one is not to use of their leftover water, and if there's nothing else that can be found, the person make tayammum. That's the view that is taken by some of the ulama. And Imam Ibn Qudam rahimullah, that he states this is the view of Ahmed. He mentioned that it's the riwayah an Ahmed regarding that the leftover water and the likes from the himar and the donkey, domesticated donkey, that it is najas and not to be used. As mentioned, innaha ritz, that is something which a ritz, meaning it is najas. There's a third view of the ulama who can somewhat stipulate regarding concerning the himar, the donkey and the mule, that they're from those animals that it is that that those things that is mashkookin fi, there's something which is unclear, that they're somewhat unclear on those matters, that they cannot clearly state that these animals, that their leftover water it is pure, nor can they clearly say that it's something which is impure. So that like, it is mashkook fi, it is something which is undecided. It's something which is undecided. So you cannot say openly, clearly, it is pure, nor can one say clearly that it is something which is impure. So you have that view among some of the ulama on this particular matter, and that's the view of the Ahnaf. That's the view that is taken by some of the Ahnaf regarding that matter, it is undecided. So that's concerning that discussion regarding that matter. So they mention that, Allahu Alam, that they mention regarding concern of these animals, that because of their use and the likes, that these domesticated animals, that of the ulama, that Ibn Qudam rahimahullah يقول والصحيح عندي طهارة البغل والحمار, that Ibn Qudam rahimahullah, that is more inclined towards these domesticated animals regarding the donkey and the mule, that these animals are domesticated, that he owes concerning that their saliva and the likes, and what they, that it is something which is tahir, it is something which is tahir. And he mentioned the Prophet that he would ride upon these animals, so he indicate that these saliva and their sweat, that is something which is tahir. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Adam, knows best. Regarding concerning haritz, that is indicating concerning it is something which is haram, regarding concerning of those things which is haram regarding the eating, consuming of those animals. That regarding consuming of those animals, then it is not to be done. So that's concerning that discussion regarding of those things that are said to be tahir or not. So he discussed concerning of those things that are discussed. Al-khamar, I will mention, is a khilaf between the ulama, and that khilaf of the ulama of past and still of present. So whatever, so that's that discussion, and also regarding concerning that domesticated donkeys, and that also that regarding concern that khilaf between ulama, that is the likes of their saliva, their water that has been left behind, drank and left behind by them, is it tahir or not? Then Ibn Qudam rahimahullah, a khilaf between ulama, but Ibn Qudam rahimahullah are of the conclusion that it is something which is tahir. It is something which is tahir, based upon that these animals, the Prophet would ride a donkey and mule and the likes, so it indicate that they're tahir. So that's concerned the conclusion of those matters regarding these hadith that are discussed regarding things that are stated to be najasat, things that are said to be najas. So what we did, inshaAllah ta'ala, is that discussion. So of the benefit that can be taken, overall benefit from this hadith, it shows regarding tahrim, that akl, concerning that shows that it is not allowed for one to eat domesticated animals' meat. It is not allowed, as the hadith of Anas, it clearly mentioned, and also other evidence. And also, so that's concerned, it is something which is not allowed to be eaten. Also from the hadith, it shows concerning that things that are said to be najas, they are not to be consumed. So anything that is said to be najas, then they are not to be consumed. As the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, things of they are not to be consumed. And also the Prophet ﷺ, regarding concerning this hadith concerning that clarifying to the ummah regarding those things that are forbidden upon them. So the Prophet ﷺ clarifying to the ummah things that are forbidden upon this ummah, and that thing that they should avoid. So he ﷺ would clarify to this ummah regarding those matters. And also regarding concern that these matters said to be najas, then anything that is said to be najas, then these things that one should try to avoid them. One should try to avoid them regarding concerning that, and if they were to get onto anything that needs to be used, then they are to be washed and to be cleansed. They are to be washed and to be cleansed. So those are what can be taken from these hadith regarding what we have mentioned. And also for the Muslim regarding concerning things of khamar, to be mindful regarding concerning khamar, and also khamar regarding that is something that is forbidden regarding consumption. So khamar, that is forbidden regarding consumption, and that will be discussed further in more details regarding bab al-ashriba, where regarding drinking of khamar is forbidden, whether in large or small quantities, is not to be given to children or to adults or to anyone, even a non-Muslim. So a Muslim should not be involved in helping and aiding a non-Muslim regarding the consumption of alcohol and also the sale of alcohol. So all the things regarding the consumption, the sale, the making of alcohol, then all this is haram. And upon the Muslim and also the Muslim to assist anyone in these type of things, and even the sale of alcohol. And unfortunately, that we find that even some Muslims that will have stores that do sell alcohol, and it's something which is haram. So you find that some Muslims that even though they may not sell it to Muslim, or they themselves may consume of this, but they would sell this to others, and it's something which is the act of them, what they're doing is haram, and they're doing something of a major sin by the selling of alcohol. So find that also wherever it may be sold, that alcohol is haram to be sold anywhere to Muslim and to non-Muslim alike, and no Muslim should be involved in this, or no even a Muslim state should also allow of this practice. So even a Muslim state should also not allow of this practice within an Islamic state. So that's concerned those matters that relates to alcohol, and in brief, and with this inshallah ta'ala we'll end this session. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهذه السبيل والآخر دعوانا الحمد لله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.